the way forward, and none of us know it. Even as adults, we really do not know what is in store for us. So when they are expressing their anxiety, never give hollow assurances. Everything will be fine, things will be just right, don't worry, because they know it will not be so, and they get very frustrated and they feel that, okay, I'm not being taken seriously. Yes, they're very anxious. And you have to keep this in mind no matter how anxious you are for your son or your daughter. Your anxiety can never be more than them who are experiencing it. They are experiencing it, and they just don't know. Rather, you say, all right, fine, you're very anxious about it, let's talk. What are your anxiety points? Let's talk. Because if you ask me, as a parent, tell them, even I don't have the answers. All I can say is, we are all in it together. So we will work something out. Let's just take it one day at a time, and we will find a way out. This assurance, it really helps. Talking to them, understanding their anxiety, and trying to, tell and trying to kind of discuss it. Okay, fine. If this is the case, what should be our plan B? Or even if it's a plan C? And, as you talk, lots of solutions come up by themselves. Also, very important is that when you're having these discussions, there will be differences of opinion. There will be things that you will not agree with, but end of the day, you have to give your point of view, give your reasons, but leave the decision to them. Agency makes a lot of difference. And I have seen over the years, if you tell them that, okay, finally it's your decision, most of the time they do think about what you have said, and they do take a decision which you'd like. At times they will not, and the decision is a wrong one. So be it. It is their decision. If they fail, they will learn from it. As adults, we know, have all our decisions been the correct ones? Not so. So if our decisions haven't been always correct, why should we stop them from taking their decision? It is really, really important. This agency, the right to decide, the right to choose, that is very important. And I will end with the most important point, which I'll speak about, and we all know it is communication. Communication is the key word. Let them have their say. It might be completely unacceptable, but once they have their say, you can always reason out. Reasoning helps a long way rather than completely negating something. As you are interacting and they speak about, certain issues that are bothering them, for you it may be a non-issue, for that teenage young adult, it is a major issue. So if you hold that emotion, if you help them to talk, if you help them to, and what, when they give you your reasons, you listen very patiently and you say, okay, fine, now I'm going to give you my reasons, and then it's up to you. So this is primarily important. It's very important. And we also, as adults, we also need to think it, think about it ourselves. What do we understand by success? What is success? What is it that I want for my child? I think most of us as parents, we would like to see our children grow up to be balanced and happy individuals. And that's indeed a tall order. In today's world, it's an extremely tall order to be happy and balanced. But let us help them. Let us help them walk this path, and we should be with them. This awareness should always be there, that there is a safe, secure space where they can no matter what I do, whether it is no matter how unacceptable it is, but there is a safety blanket where I can definitely take refuge. That is something we need to provide for them. And also, one more thing is that do remember there is no one fit all. They are all different, they are all unique individuals, and we have to deal with them in that fashion. Though nowadays, whenever you're not being able to deal with your with a teenager's problem, we think in terms of counseling. But I am of the opinion that parents can be the best counselors because they are with the person 24 into 7. So if we are looking at a change of mindset, we have to look at ourselves. We have to take a relook at our own thought process. And that I think, is the way forward. And in these times, in these very, very difficult times, the sense and the feeling that we are in it together, their anxieties need to be addressed, have these discussions, communicate with them, and I think we will be able to deal with some of the problems. These are a few of my suggestions. Thank you. If you have any questions, I can take them.
Thank you, Mrs. Roy. I request Mr. Manoj Mani Agarwal to please handle the question answer session.
So Hasnu has some questions. She can mute herself. I'll just name, and if you can unmute yourself and ask question, okay. Hasnu. Yeah.
Thank you, Manoj. Good evening, ma'am. Actually,
I think you have another. I think you have. Your voice is echoing, Hasnu. You have another.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because Hassan is using another device and sitting bang opposite.
So if one of you can mute yourself.
Yeah, he's gone. So ma'am has actually covered all the issues, and I was just thinking that these days the children, they were already lonely in all the hustle bustle. What with us not staying around, and now with us staying, like we are totally with them all the time. Not that they are too happy about that also. So, and with the racing hormones and not being able to meet their friends, and the uncertainties that they are facing, lack of real relationships. Do you think, ma'am, how should we guide them so as to, I see the children these days under these circumstances losing their faith on how to have a more enduring relationship with human beings. They are becoming less and less detached from humans, more dependent on virtual things.
I think, right at this particular juncture, this is something quite unavoidable because, it's the situation, it doesn't allow. But what can be done, I feel, is that, if possible, maintaining that social distance, even if there is one meeting that can happen, in the complex, in the house that you stay in or in the complex. Otherwise, the other way around is this is the time when, the family bond, if that somewhere, if you can kind of, what should I say, kind of the distance that was there prior to this pandemic, now the people who are in the house are the only people available for human interaction. So if you can, to some extent, become a friend who will listen, who will not judge, which is very difficult. It is, unless you do it very consciously, it's very difficult because, we end up judging, and that is where they are scared to open up. Because, let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say they are sharing about a friend, and something, when you hear, it is completely unacceptable. But if you react there and then, they will completely close up. So what you need to do is listen to her, listen to her or him, listen, and, okay, fine, keep on questioning. As you question, lots of things will unfold for the person herself. And there is really no substitute for physically meeting friends. There is truly no substitute. We just have to develop resilience in them. And that is all that can be done at this juncture. There is truly no answer to this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Rajesh Chaudhary, sorry, please continue.
No, I just wanted to say something. What I had done with some of my students is that, which is a very common practice. It's called a circle time. They have a kind of a Zoom meeting, 5 or 6 people, and they just talk. It's not about an issue. They just talk, and that they found very helpful. So maybe if they could do that amongst a few of their friends, or maybe 6 or 8 friends, and they have not a video call or a one-to-one basis, but between 4 or 5 or 6 people that they're comfortable with, if they can do that kind of a call, that does help to some extent. It's a very poor substitute, but that is a substitute.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure that would be helpful.
Naresh bhai, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Are you referring to me, Manoj Bhaiya?
You can start, Rajesh, no problem.
Sure. Good evening, Ms. Roy. My name is Rajesh Chaudhary, and thank you very much for being part of this get together. These days we find that unlike a few decades ago, a lot of adolescents, a lot of youngsters, they are extremely, they rely a lot on gadgets and on the virtual aspect. And as a result, what happens is, communication within the family takes a toll. Now, my question is specific to the fact that, we often these days also speak about mental health of youngsters, right? So, if you could just give us in a nutshell, certain red flags that we parents need to be very, very aware of, or be very conscious of, when we find that our children are, heading towards a situation of depression. They just, some of them, they just might seem like as chirpy as they used to be earlier, but then not necessarily so. Some of them, they just might become, they just might get into a shell in a certain way. So it becomes extremely difficult for, parents to really make an assessment as to what exactly is going on in their mind. Thank you so much.
Right, sir. So this is what I stressed in my last point, for this, what you have to do is you have to keep communicating. Now, just I'll tell you this. Suppose you are alert and you see that your child is withdrawing to a shell, and if you keep on asking questions, you will not make any headway. Trust me, you will not make any headway at all. So what needs to be, this pandemic has given us this opportunity where, we forge this bond on a day-to-day basis. Also, we have to be very alert as to what has been the behavior of the person and what changes, you notice. And the moment you notice these changes, you have to, in a very subtle way, you have to confront the child that, is something wrong? And I'm telling you, the normal answer will be, oh, everything is fine. So you have to start a conversation with that, because in this pandemic state, I'm really more worried, more than any kind of physical distancing or COVID. I'm really, really worried about the mental well-being of these children. Not only these children, of adults also. Because mental well-being, you see, our body and mind is in sync. So that needs to be really worked upon. And as you said, this is a major problem in the teenage years. And, you have to really, walking on eggshells. You don't know what is less and you don't know what is more. Because if you don't ask and you say, okay, fine, let the person be, the reaction is, my parent is not interested. If you ask a lot, oh my goodness, He's always intruding.